Khawaja Hammad Akbar, who is an IR expert. Thank you for joining us. Hammad Sahab, overall, as far as this visit is concerned, I hope you've been hearing what Javed Sahab is saying in terms of their investment of 2 billion on the gas pipeline also. But overall, otherwise, how do you see this trip? How do you see it as a game changer, which is what seems to be the overall consensus of how this visit is going to what its ramifications can be for Pakistan at this time?
Thank you, Mahrukh. I hope my voice is clear to you.
Ji, ji, it is.
I agree with Javed Saab, whatever he was saying. I completely endorse his statements that this visit of Prime Minister Imran Khan after 23 years, it is a landmark that a head of state after 23 years is visiting Russian Federation. And presently, the geopolitical situation and the geostrategic environment of the globe is very critical. And in this scenario, the bilateral relations with Russia are critical as compared to the Pakistan's geostrategic location. So, the couple of things that are very important. One is the gas pipeline, Northwest corridor, and it is very important for Pakistan. And Pakistan could benefit energy sector comparatively cheap than LNG. But secondly, most important thing is the contribution of Pakistan and Russia and their interest convergence over Afghanistan crisis. Historically, and Pakistan and Russia has a position, the diplomatic position on Afghanistan is quite similar. And in recent decades, after you may call it in last decade, and that would be for me a very good point of discussion in Moscow. And hopefully the things will be discussed and the current geopolitical environment will be discussed, and Russia will be very much interested in Pakistan's CPAC projects, because I have been in conversation with Moscow State University, and the professors are very much interested in exploring the opportunities under the CPAC flagship project of BRI. So you see, also, most importantly, Pakistan should be careful about making media statements and press releases of this visit, because whenever we go abroad, we do a few mistakes. First of them is the real understanding of foreign relations, how diplomatic and how diplomacy carries. Because when we are going at a bilateral visit, and we must not bring any kind of a multilateral issue on the discussion table, or talk anything about any other country, because we have a history of bitter history of Cold War era attached with associated with Russia. And because of that baggage, we see each other with an Indian prism. That has to be stopped. Actually, we have stopped seeing each other through Indian prism. So we have to be focused on strictly bilateral relationship and mature this
That's a very
instead of
interesting point
dragging the
that you've raised. I want to ask Javed Saab his take on this also. Javed Saab, overall, as far as taking, because Afghanistan is certainly also something
Yes,
that is on the cards and has
exactly.
been, and I think the Prime Minister has rightfully taken up Afghanistan on every forum because of the humanitarian crisis that it means for so many people in Afghanistan, their geostrategic position, the effect of that alone to Pakistan.
I think Pakistan and Russia are on the same page as far as Afghanistan is concerned. Both are interested that Afghanistan becomes a peaceful, stable country, so that this whole region becomes stabilized. Because of Afghanistan, in the last 40 years, Pakistan has suffered massively. We have been hosting 3 million plus Afghan refugees in our country, and which had huge ramifications for Pakistan and its society. And now, after the the disintegration of USSR, I'm talking of 20 years back, things have completely changed. United States came, and they invaded Afghanistan. A new situation has emerged, and I think now both Pakistan and Russia want peace in that region, and particularly in Afghanistan. And there's a convergence of views as to how to go about, Afghanistan. I think back-channel diplomacy has also been conducted, and Russian Foreign Minister also visited here, Islamabad, in that context. So I think that issue is going to be raised. Another issue which is very important, that Pakistan wants defense cooperation with Russia as well. We have seen, the special forces of Pakistan and Russia, doing joint exercises, military exercises, and they have learned a lot from each other experience, and this is basically with a view to combat terrorism in this region. So I think Pakistan and Russia both are very keen to improve and strengthen their relations, and I think the past backlog has been completely, off now, and I think we are.
So you think that all of that, that history
trajectory,
or that past that our relationship
we have buried it, and we are on the new trajectory, and it is a very positive one.
Ji Hammad Sahab.
So Mahrukh, Javed Sahab is very much right in this, that Pakistan and Russia has explored their strategic nature of relationship.
It is in that sense a new chapter for us and our relationship with Russia.
The new chapter, first of thing that I have said earlier, that Afghanistan will be critical, because the situation and the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan will be a point of anxiety for all the regional stakeholders. And Russia is very much interested and very much and will very much will talk to Prime Minister Imran Khan about having a plan, having a joint effort to help the Afghan government, the current Afghan regime, and also the you see the Indian propaganda. Yesterday I was looking over the news. We have to be very careful about that is coming from India about the Pakistan-Russia relationship, because Indians are reporting it like it will not impact the Russia and India relationship. Russia has assured to India these kind of stupid kind of statements we are observing in Indian media and Indian press. So we have to be very careful about the Indian propaganda and Indian disinformation strategy, because we are very much a target of this, and this relationship is on their hit list. As you must be aware of the fact that the Russians,
all the efforts that Pakistan is making to strengthen our relationship with Russia, to reinvigorate it, all of those things, of course they want to sabotage it, there's no denying that. And in terms of that, of course, we need to be careful, which is what essentially you're saying.
Yes, essentially. But in this, we have to understand one more basic reality. That is the Eastern style of diplomacy that Pakistan and Russia has as a common, because in Eastern style of diplomacy, the relationship is comprised called as personalized relationship, and it is not subject to the projects or the capital market. And in this regard, Russia has repeatedly asked Pakistan and its allies that come to us straight, and then the limit of our friendship would be skies. So this kind of relationship Russia is asking from 2009 from us, and we were late in approaching the right train. So I'm glad that Pakistan has come to the station and cast the train that is leading us to Moscow, and that will explore the new horizon of international cooperation, and will give Pakistan room to perform in international organization, and will give us an opportunity to mitigate the energy crisis in Pakistan. I pray to Allah that this goes smooth.
Right. T. Javed Sahab, your comments.
I think this visit of Pakistan's Prime Minister is going to further change and accelerate the relationship between Moscow and Islamabad.
But I think what Hammad Sahib is saying essentially, as far as the other countries trying to sabotage us, particularly across the border, that's a very grim reality.
The regional and global realities have changed. The past is past now. India was the closest ally of Soviet Union in the Cold War period, and now they have chosen a new ally. I mean, the Indians are very close to the United States, and they have gone in the lap of the United States, and they have created this Quad, and they are a strategic ally of the United States of America. So Russia now, Russian Republic, Federation of Russia is different one from what it used to be USSR. So if the Indians are saying that, and they are trying to create an impression, negative impression about Pakistan, I think they will not be able to do it, because Russian leadership clearly understands that the new realities are emerging in the region, that every country has its own role and every country has its own strategic interests.
So I think quickly, there are some concerns being raised in terms of the time of this visit, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned. How would you see that? How would you comment on that?
No, I think it is perfect time. From my point of view, it is very important, because Pakistan is looking for foreign investment. Pakistan is passing through a turbulent period as far as economy is concerned. Pakistan is also looking for technology, new technology.
And Russia can be a key ally for Pakistan at this time.
And Russia is very advanced as far as technology is concerned. In fact, the defense technology and other technologies, Russia is so advanced. So I think Pakistan is going to benefit from this relationship, and if we strengthen our bilateral ties and relations, and also Pakistan is keen to increase its exports, and Russia is a market which needs to be explored for Pakistani products.